from Justin Timberlake and Chrissy Stapleton. Well done, finish. And 23 past. We'll just stop there, Lewis. There you go, we'll just stop Lewis for a moment, he's not quite ready. But Madonna, yeah, good one there from Justin Timberlake.
Oh, lovely little song.
Yeah, say something, it was. And we'll continue our conversation with Lewis in just a moment. But yeah, the dentist, we were talking about dentists before, and you just mentioned something earlier about fillings and things.
Oh, absolutely. So it's that sort of thing where, well, naturopathically, keeping an eye on your teeth is a really good idea. So yes, we agree with the dentist that, you know, good teeth health is so important. It's sort of that sort of thing where, you know, these days there's so much research, probably for around the last 10, 11, 12 years, you've probably heard those connections between bad teeth health and strokes and heart disease and things like that. So the plaques that build up on our teeth, they're called biofilms. Those biofilms can get into the bloodstream, can lay down in the heart and basically lead to cardiac disease.
Exactly.
There's so much research about this now, it's quite phenomenal. So we can't just think about our teeth as being something innocuous in our mouth that aren't doing anything. They are very, very alive and they need to be well.
Well, the evolution of dentistry is amazing, so we'll continue our little chat with Dr. Lewis from Dental Health up there in Cleveland, and he's got a little bit more to say. To Bay Health, Russ Barnsley with you today, and we're talking to Lewis again from Refresh Smiles Dental at Cleveland, and welcome back.
G'day, how you doing?
We're going to talk a little bit about today orthodontics, and I know they're related in with braces, so you're the dentist, I'll let you do the talking.
Okay, so orthodontics, it usually occurs when people have got crooked teeth, or their bite's not right, or they've got some habits that causes their teeth to move out of place or misalign. So what orthodontics is you want to get them functionally good and also aesthetically good. So most common reason is because I've got crooked teeth, so you do braces to fix it up.
Mm-hmm. Is this it from the onset of birth, or just a defect, or could be an accident, or is it mainly from just your DNA, your birth?
There is definitely a big genetic component, especially with mum and dads or whatnot, and it's related to whether you've got a big jaw, a small jaw, or whatnot. And the most common causes of these is the jaw's too small, so the teeth are too big and they kind of just don't fit in the mouth. So there's ways orthodontically to manipulate the shape of the jaw and to align the teeth, and that's what I do love doing.
Well, I'm pretty lucky because I've been told I'm a big mouth, so maybe they weren't talking about that.
The big mouth's always good. At least there's room for all the teeth to fit in.
Yeah, it does. So, we talk, genetic, DNA and all that sort of business. Is there a lot to be afraid of, like, for this type of dental work?
The majority of people do have some sort of misalignment. It's very rare not to have some misalignment. And I think it could be, I reckon it's got to do with, how selective breeding and evolution of humans or whatnot. And, what we find attractive and appealing, even over time and generations, and, the mouth's getting smaller. So.
Yeah. Do you find with your patients, the younger ones are a little bit more accepting of the dentist these days, as opposed to the older generation like me that we were brought up and we were absolutely terrified of the dentist, and I mean terrified.
I completely agree with you, because it's definitely come a long way with technology, anesthetics, happy gas, and there's a lot of ways to help patients become a bit more comfortable. In previous generations, what usually happens is something's gone wrong. Something's hurting, and it's not the most fun experience to go to the dentist, because they usually have to do something pretty terrible to rectify the problem. But starting young is definitely a good thing. Just because they come in, they're used to you, they know how to look after the teeth, they know how to brush regularly, and they come every 6 months for their dental checkups, and there's good maintenance and a good habits forming. Whereas the ones like in previous generations, like my dad's generation, they only could go to see the dentist when it's in pain or whatnot, and usually they have to take it out, and that's not fun to go through. But if it's regularly maintained, that would never have to happen in the first place. So
exactly, yeah, and I was terrified of the dentist, and I probably still am, even though I'm quite a mature age now. What sort of age is it a good time to get the kids off to the dentist for the first time?
I reckon roughly about 3 or 4 years old, they've got all of their baby teeth through, just to make sure we're doing all the right things at home. The teeth are coming through all right, and that we don't have any holes or whatnot. And, and start getting them used to the dentist and forming these good habits.
Okay, my daughter's going to have fun with my grandson. He's a twin, not quite 4 yet, and doesn't even want to go and have a haircut. He's scared of the barber. So I don't know how he's going to go.
I reckon, just come in, have a ride in the chair, just to get used to the environment, because, something new always seems to scare the younger ones. So if you can get them in when they're 3 or 4, just to check, just to play around, get them used to the atmosphere. I think that'll come a long way in the future.
Have a real quick chat and go on to it.
Cool.
And we might talk about braces. I know it's all part of that family of orthodontics that we mentioned, but just want a couple of questions we might talk about, and what people can do to rectify crooked teeth, etc. So look forward to your company again, maybe next week on Bay Health.
Perfect, thank you.
We won't have to wait till next week. We'll do it after we have a little chat and a bit of music, Madonna.
Yeah.
So, some interesting things in there, especially about what age to go to the dentist with the kids. And, there'll always be controversy about that. Oh, yeah, they're
Absolutely. I think it's when the kid's old, like I agree, it's when the kid's old enough to sit in the chair, even if they just do something really fun on that first time or two, so the kid gets used to going there.
And that's what he said, just play with the chair like it's a little ride or something.
So my nephew Sterling, he went to the dentist in Bethesda a couple of weeks ago, and it was very much, going in there, checking out the teeth, climbing all over the equipment.
And look,
3 years old.
As I said, I can just imagine my little grandson, he hates the barber, so what's he going to do with the dentist? But nevertheless, some interesting discussions. All right, we'll take a little break. And we'll come back. We won't have to wait till next week, because we'll talk to Lewis in just a moment. This is Bay FM. Good morning. We're in Talking Bay Health.
Here at Bay FM, we listen to